Well, Don, we did it again.
Yeah, told you were gonna like her.
Oh, she's just fantastic, brother. What did we cover with this magnificent human?
Oh my gosh! So our guest for this episode is the wonderful Heather Swenson Brilla. We talked all about her work with burner culture, her work in social work, her time in the restaurant industry, her time as a DJ in college. We ran through quite a bit with her.
I really enjoyed it because you two once had a marriage relationship and now you guys have an epic friendship. And it was cool because I got to hear these old stories of you back in your early 20s. And it was just very fun to find out new things about Don Swenson as well.
Thanks. Yeah, but Heather is a pretty great individual, and I'm so glad that we had her on, and just the way that she approaches every subject with a natural curiosity and creative thinking was a no-brainer to have her on.
Yeah, she has so much passion. And if you're like me and you've always wondered, what is this Burning Man thing? If you don't know, Burning Man is a festival. She takes a huge part in it, and I got to learn all about what it is, and it did not disappoint. I want to go, Don Swenson.
Well, we should definitely not hesitate and get to this episode.
All right, brother. Go ahead. Introduce her.
Ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, Heather Swenson Brilla.
Ow!
Sam.
Me. Don.
That's me.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to see you.
Wait, who is this beautiful lady across from us?
This is Heather Swenson Brilla, one of my oldest and dearest friends.
Yay.
Someone I am happy to also know as the mother of two of my sons.
Mm-hmm.
And she's kind of an amazing person, and I think you should get to know her a little bit.
That's amazing. I love telling people that Don Swenson's ex was coming on the podcast this week. I was like, wait, what?
Yeah, we're the poster children for divorced situations.
You guys
Basically.
really seem like it. Yeah, you guys seem like you're having fun.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I mean,
That's fun.
It's like
she's like one of my best friends.
Yeah,
you know?
you're
She's
kind
like,
of often my first call.
yeah, for sure.
But we had this point where like people would come to us and be like,
Hey.
"You're divorced and it's okay. I
Yeah.
think I can get divorced." We're like, "No, we are
no.
not inspirational.
No.
Like, no,
Please do not do this.
do not do this because we made it look okay."
My kids were asking, they're like, do you think they're going to get into a fight? I was like, I don't think he would have invited her. But
No. But yeah, I mean, like, aside from that bit of information, like,
I mean, let me just say, you guys seem like you get along better than most married couples.
We really,
yeah, we really kind of do. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
wild.
Yeah.
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 I mean,
It's
this guy,
like-
I don't know you so well. Hopefully I will by the end of this. But this guy is just the most lovable dude in the world, in my humble opinion.
Who doesn't like Don Swenson?
No friend of mine.
Except for me for like 9 months maybe, and then we got over that part. We were cool again.
We worked on that. Yeah, it's like I mean, there's a handful of people who don't like Don Swenson, and
those are assholes.
I'm okay with it.
Yeah, you can't please everyone, dude.
Yeah.
You try so hard, too. But don't.
Too much.
Yeah.
He tries too
All
much.
right. Well, I didn't realize that this
Ooh.
podcast was going to be an intervention.
Sam and I are just going to pull out the DSM guide and diagnose you for an hour.
That's great. That's great. I also have rickets. Fantastic.
So what are we talking about? I mean, you
I
know
wanted
her.
Yeah, we go back. We've known each other since 1996.
Damn.
It's true.
So, like,
I was in 4th grade.
Shut up.
son of a... This podcast is over.
What extent of swearing is acceptable in this platform?
I mean, as much as you want.
It's really
All right,
we don't
good.
even we don't even edit anything.
No.
Really,
Alright.
so much.
Just checking.
Yeah, so I thought Heather would be a really interesting person to talk to because, like, her muggle job is as a social worker with Stockton University, and she's working on her doctorate right now. But she's also one of the most creative people that I know. And
That's saying a lot.
she loves to figure out stuff. Right now, she's redesigning her bedroom, and she's doing all the carpentry pretty much by herself, knocking holes in walls and just getting shit done.
Wow, I've never felt more pathetic in my life. Wow.
We're just getting started, Sam.
Wow, gosh dang it.
Yeah.
I mean, so, okay, before this started, I asked for the Cliff Notes, and you rattled off many things, and I was like, holy crap, I got many questions about all of those things. So where do we even begin?
I think, gosh,
So what is the point of this show?
the point of the show,
Let's start with the mission
We're still
statement.
Yeah, Don, what is the point of the show?
we're still trying to figure that out.
Go back to your mission statement.
So we interest interviewing people.
Got it.
We interview interesting people and people who have a touch of the creative about them, people who view life through a creative lens. So they don't necessarily have to be visual artists or musicians or anything, but anybody who really approaches life creatively.
I mean, we've had anyone from teachers to burlesque dancers to people who take photographs of creepy dolls in the woods. Like a wide range of creativity types.
Yeah. So like, how do you guys define creative? I want to look it up right now. Go back to the good book, the dictionary, when you need a starting place.
That's the good book?
That's the good book.
right.
Whenever I get lost, just
I use ChatGPT.
I love the robots.
Oh my God, it's the best.
So, how do we view creative?
Like, how do you?
How do I
creative,
define
like, as
it?
in something that's created, something
no, I
that's
think
someone who
it's-
creates.
I think it's somebody who can see the world around them and see how it can change for the better.
Oh yeah, I got that. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I got you.
So you've got that in spades. So
All right.
why don't we start where we're kind of at right now and talk a little bit about how you were a DJ in college. Let's work our way
Yeah.
up to present day, Heather, and start way back
All
in
right.
the Wayback Machine.
So that was actually when I was at Stockton. I was working for the food service company. And Stockton University has had a radio station forever. It's WLFR, Lake Fred Radio.
Wow, she sounds so professional.
And I wanted a radio show so badly, and I just didn't have private time. Like, I didn't have personal time to do it. Like, I'm going to have a radio show. So I was director of marketing for food services on campus at the time. I'm like, I'll do a radio show on company time, and I'm going to make it all music about food. And so I had, like, an entire radio show with music about coffee, or coffee was in the band's name, like Black Coffee in Bed, and what's the coffee song? What's that one we like? The coffee song. Way down on
yeah, the coffee song.
The coffee song.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yes, there was a whole show about coffee. And then I would also like talk to the students, like, what's for lunch today, and read up the menus for what was for Chartwell's and special events. Hey, it's steak and shrimp night. But I had like it was so lame. It was an excuse for me to be on the radio.
I mean, are you a foodie or are you just?
I have always worked in food. No, yeah, food anthropology, food manners. Don't even get me started about the history of salt. So, yeah, I mean, I love food. Food brings us together. It smells good. It tastes good. It looks good. Like, it just feels good in your mouth. It makes us happy. It keeps us alive. So, yeah, if you can do a whole hour of a radio show of songs about chicken, like 100%. It was so much fun.
I can't think of a single song about chicken.
What's that one? Alligator tastes like chicken. I can't remember.
I mean, this was back before you could just was this before you could just find it on the internet easily?
No, you had to really like search and
Yeah.
then download the songs. It wasn't like you could just queue things up on Spotify.
Little Napster or something?
It was
or?
something like that. I spent money buying songs about. My most inspired show might have been the one about stone fruits, because I called it My Stone Fruit Allergy, and then all the songs were like peaches, cherries,
The
nectarines.
Peaches song,
There's the
Move
Peaches
into
song.
the country.
Oh, for 100%.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, it was just so many good ones on that one. And the breakfast food show. That's where we learned the bagel song that Rob likes, our oldest son.
I don't know.
Bagel, 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 bagel.
Oh, the lyrics.
I eat as
Deep.
many as I can finagle.
Oh,
Oh, I had
that's
to
a good
dig.
rhyme.
I had to dig deep for an hour's worth of breakfast food music.
Yeah.
Your standards have to go real low. And what was funny was like people could call in because it's a radio station, and I don't know who the hell was listening to WL. It's an excellent radio station. Somebody called in to complain about the music I was playing.
What?
Like because I had got like some.
They
stupid,
called into your show
yes,
and complained to you?
while I was on the radio.
That's
And because
amazing.
it was like a SpongeBob tune about some food. I can't remember what it was. This guy is like, "What the hell am I listening to?" I'm like, dude, it's a college radio station. We are specifically told we cannot play top 40 music. What do you think is gonna happen? What am I listening to? College radio, my friend.
Hell yeah, dude.
College
That's what it's
radio.
all about. Sounds like you had a hell of a show. This is your first time ever doing anything like that.
Yeah, it was terrifying.
Yeah.
'Cause
How
you
long
can't-
did it go for?
2 semesters. So 3 months and 3 months.
So do you get a good experience out of that?
Yeah, it was so much fun. But it was weird because it was live. Like you can't edit, so you have all these machines and like, you had to cut to the PSAs. We had to do so many amounts of PSAs because it was like public radio, and so that was kind of like.
Did you
switching
do
buttons.
all the buttons and stuff?
I
at the
did
same
all
time?
the buttons. They taught me all
Holy-
the buttons. Yeah, it was wild.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
Did you listen, Don?
I listened to the coffee episode.
Coffee episode was good. Made
was a
my
very
own
good
theme
one.
song.
Do you have any of these recorded?
No, I
Oh,
wish I
man.
did.
Yeah,
I really wish I
Put it on
did.
YouTube or something. That'd
No,
be
that would
cool.
have been fun.
Yeah.
Recording it while I was doing it would have made it's too much.
Since then, have you done anything with radio, or was that like your in and out
No.
experience?
That was my in and out experience. And like they still have the college radio station. I could have a show. But I'm wondering, like, I actually do sincerely wonder, like, what's up with college radio now in the age of podcasts.
Is that still a thing?
Oh, they still,
Yeah, sure.
we still have the radio
Communication.
station. I don't know what they do with it.
Okay.
Well, Camden County College still has a radio station too, and they're pretty they're pretty active on that as
Okay.
well. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to listen to college radio because that was the only place I could hear punk rock back in the
Yeah.
day. Like,
Yeah.
it was either top 20 over and over again or this punk rock station.
There was a guy that gave like ukulele lessons on the college radio station for a while. I'm like, that is so boss to like do ukulele on the radio. But like, I don't know if he's like a professional podcaster now. Like, why would you he took that content away from the people?
well, we had back at Hofstra, they had like one of the top rated college radios I think in the country, and it was such a weird eclectic mix because you'd get like really cool punk music, like they were playing Creed before Creed was Creed, and
Nice.
and they had also like a really great hour of polka music. You know, like it was like a lot of cool stuff, classical music. It was really cool.
Are you into polka?
I love polka. I love a good oompa band.
I don't know if you're joking.
No, I am
No.
not joking. I remember I was teaching this young lady at Highland, and I told her how much I loved polka music, and she gave me an album called The Jolly Bavarians, and it's like the best thing that I've ever received.
But have you checked out the punk polka?
No, I haven't.
Polka
checked it.
Never Dies by the Dreadnoughts. It's the launching pad for punk polka.
Oh my god!
Oh
It's
my God,
amazing.
I'm gonna look that
You
up.
have to look
I
it
know
up.
what the ride home's gonna be like.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I will share my.
Do you have a
Polka?
playlist?
I do. And it was forced upon me in a joint playlist session where someone I'm trying to go to the gym. I'm looking for my work, and then all of a sudden I'm getting Polka Never Dies as I'm doing squats. Like, no. So I have a playlist. It's
Yeah.
absurd, and
Yeah.
I love it. It was, one of those things where like someone knows what you need better than you do, and you're mad
Yeah.
at the time. Then you're like, no, I have a punk polka playlist now.
Yeah.
This is exactly what I needed.
I feel like
Man.
that is gonna change my life.
There's a mood for it, and you didn't know that you had that niche to fill in your heart, Sam.
Wow, I'm learning so much about myself. Didn't see that coming.
That's what this whole experience was supposed to be.
That's why you
about.
brought her in
Yeah,
to learn
yeah,
about
yeah.
myself.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's happening quick. Hey, can I go ahead and change to something
Yes.
that's on my mind? You mentioned Burning Man. I want to know about Burning
did.
Man.
I
Especially from a dude
did.
who's only heard the word Burning Man, heard some jokes, and
Heard
I don't
some
get the
jokes.
jokes because I don't even know what it's
Can you-
about.
Can you think of any of the jokes? Like, what was the context that you heard?
The context, if I mean, it would just probably be something about dirty people, or just
dirty
people, probably really high.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's all I know.
That's the narrative. Dirty, naked people in the desert. So there was this night. It was like 2017, I guess. I couldn't sleep. So you're doom scrolling. I don't think we called it doom scrolling then, though. And the news article came up about Burning Man. I'm like, what's this? And then I didn't sleep for 5 hours because I went down the rabbit hole of the internet and what Burning Man is. And so Burning Man is a burn, a temporary, what do we call it? A temporary experimenting community? Someone's going to kick my ass for not knowing that. Basically, the big burn is like 60,000 people in the desert.
Whoa.
Dry lake bed in Nevada. And people come together, strangers. They come together. They build a city. They live together for like 10 days.
Whoa.
There's roads. There's campsites. You bring your stuff. You live together. We have these 10 principles that we try to live by. Things happen. You burn a man. But the best part is then when it's over and like it's like nothing was there. And so, yeah, the man is, I don't know, 4 or 5 stories, wooden thing.
Whoa.
That gets burned.
You said the big burn. Is there like little burns here and there?
There is, yeah. So the big burn is Burning Man, and then there's regionals all over the world. So it's the same culture as the big burn. It's the 10 principles, having an effigy to burn, usually having a temple to burn as well.
Wow.
But they're all over. And so I am a part of an organization called Fire Pony Creative Society. And it is a nonprofit that puts on 2 burns in Pennsylvania, Playa del Fuego, which is the one that I run, and Constellation, which is the one that was just last month in October. And these are smaller events. So like PDF, which is Playa del Fuego, PDF had 1,200 people this year. And I think Constellation had about that, maybe 1,000, somewhere right around there. And so you're taking the culture of a larger culture, right, in a smaller group of people, and in these cases we're putting it in the woods and not in the desert. So the prince, I never know where to like dig into this story, right? So the principles for Burning Man are things like radical self-reliance, radical inclusion, communal effort, civic responsibility, leave no trace, gifting, participation, decommodification, and there's 2 more. But these ideas of like, we're all going to live together, everyone gets to express themselves in whatever way is authentic for them. Everyone is accepted for who they are, although there's a caveat, you don't get to be an asshole. Gifting, you give what you have, you ask for what you need. There's no bartering. Decommodification, you can't sell anything there, you can't buy anything there.
When you say gifting, do you mean like food and water?
Yeah.
Do you mean physical jewelry?
Anything. So sometimes people's gifts are like, I'm going to make 100 friendship bracelets and give them around to people if they want them. But one time we had a storm come up, and as a scouter been a scout leader for 15 years now, I know how to tie a taut line hitch. And so I just had a bunch of rope, and I went around and helped people tie their pop-ups down so they didn't blow away. Huh. And that would have been an example of like my gift to everybody, was just to walk around and do that. Some people have a gifting tree, which is fun. So they'll put like some stand in front of their campsite, and they'll just have like paper clothespins with like condoms, tampons, snacks, some water bottles, like take what you need.
Huh.
And then conversely, like if you need something that you forgot, or that you're stuck, or you're just like, I need a hug, like I'm having a hard time right now, you just find it. Like people are gifting back, right?
We were talking about mission statements earlier. What would you say is the mission statement, if there is one, to Burning Man?
So I know there is one. I don't know the official one, but I will say this. When I explain a burn to people, I say, imagine a place where everyone is so free and occupied with being their authentic self. They don't have time to judge anybody else's experience. Like you're just so wrapped up, not in a self-centered way, but just like you're so full of this, like, this is who I am and I get to be this in this space. I don't have time to judge what you're doing over there, man. Just you do you, and just be happy and don't hurt anybody.
What does the Burning Man represent? The literal burning?
So it's has this is so bad. People are going to hear this and I'm not going to know the answer. No, it's an effigy of a man, and I have a feeling it had to do with Wicker Man legend. Don, don't put this in there. I have to look up the right answer. No, because it started on a beach in like San Francisco in like a pagan-y fun thing where they're like, let's build a giant man statue and set it on fire. But I can't remember the exact meaning of their effigy, but every burn has its own effigy.
Okay.
And so Playa del Fuego, ours is a pony. And because we started on Assateague Island, so Beach of Fire, started on Assateague Island where the ponies were. And so our effigy is always some sort of artistic wooden rendering of a horse. And it's built on the playa, on the fields. People can interact with it. Usually you can climb on it, draw on it, and then we burn it on Saturday night. And then most burns also have a temple, which is a wooden structure that is a different purpose. It's contemplative, it's peaceful, it's prayerful, and people will go in through the week and sit with it and meditate, cry. It's kind of amazing. Write whatever you want to release on the boards, tuck your papers in. And so Saturday night is the effigy burn, and it's raucous. It's yelling, it's shouting, it's amazing. It's
yelling
drumming
and shouting.
Oh yeah, people are cheering and whooping, and
is there music going on? Or
no, there's usually there's a drum circle. So there's always like drummers in the background. Usually there's fire spinners first. So like people who play with all the fire toys, they'll go out around the effigy first and they'll do their performances. Then they come in and then the fire team goes in to start to light the effigy. And there's, the drums are still going and people are cheering and everybody's really happy because it's this energy release of like 1,000 people are going to watch something big get set on fire. And so it's this huge energy release. And then once it burns and the fire team, because it's also very structured. A burn is chaos within structure. The fire team, in terms of safety, are watching it fall. They're making sure that there's a perimeter. And once it's fallen to a certain height where they deem this is now safe, they drop the fire perimeter and everybody runs around the fire in a circle yelling, sometimes not clothed. It's just whatever, whatever release of energy, But then on Sunday night, we burn the temple, and that is silent. Nobody talks. And you're just watching this thing that everyone has touched and prayed at. And
what do you mean by temple? Is this like built by
artists? So the organizations give out grants to artists to build these things, right? So Playa del Fuego, Fire Pony, we might give $2,000 to Don to build an effigy. You would build a gigantic pony. We would pay you. You bring it there. We enjoy your art, and then we set it on fire. So it's the same thing with the temple. Sometimes it looks like a small house. Last year at Playa del Fuego, it kind of looked like a big tree, but you could sit in the trunk, and they had all these wooden leaves, and you could write whatever you wanted and hang them all over the tree. And then when they burn, all the wooden leaves sparked. So, but that's a part of the art of the community as well. It's a big art community, and last year PDF gave $25,000 to different artists to build stuff and bring it.
Wow.
Not all of it gets burned. Some of it is just really great, innovative, visual stuff. Like my friend Hatter has these LED wings. Did you see a picture I've ever put on Facebook of Hatter's wings? It's big angel wings, but he's got LED lights running through it. And you can play with it when you get there to decide what color you want them to be flashing. And then there's a halo effect that comes down. And every year he just adds more stuff to it to be this experience of art and light and shape all around you. It's kind of amazing.
Wow.
Yeah, I gotta it's a creative everything.
I imagine many types like you and Don, and maybe some hippies there, and maybe a lot of young people. Do you get the business guy who's in his cubicle and just needs a release? Or
there are so many tech bros at a burn. That's exactly I am. I mean, I'm a little nuts, but in general, I'm fairly straight-laced. Like you go and you're just like, yes, I need the release. I need to be in a space where whoever I am is accepted as the gift that I am, and that the only rules are don't hurt anybody, and to blow out that steam, and be with other people who are like-minded. And then just you kind of have to, then you go back to your life. It's called decompression when you go home, like the decomp. You just go back and all that energy, and you go back and put your suit on or whatever it is for you and go back to work. I mean, there's an ER doctor who goes and they're amazing and they run off and do their thing. They're always like back up for the medic teams. Like if you're really stuck, you're calling 911. I'm here, I'm an ER doctor. But they always say like, hey, there's these 2 nights where I am not going to be available for you. Great, good for them.
What about a dude like me who's got 4 kids, got the business? Does it have to be 10 days? Can someone show up for 2 days?
Oh, for sure. No, so Playa del Fuego, let's just go with like the regionals that are much more accessible to people, right? Because it's in Pennsylvania near Allentown, Reading, kind of out that way. Like 3 hours from here. So it starts on Thursday at 5 and it goes over Memorial Day weekend, and we have to be out Monday at noon, Memorial Day Monday. So you could certainly buy your ticket. It's $90.
Bring a tent.
Bring a tent, bring some food, buy your ticket, stay for one night, stay for the weekend, and leave. Like, you don't have to stay the whole time necessarily. I highly recommend, if you're going to do it, like a Saturday morning to Monday morning. That way you catch the temple burn on Saturday. The effigy burn on Saturday, the temple burn on Sunday, and then Monday morning is called Wake Up and Rage. So we need everybody to leave.
Oh, the day you leave is Wake Up and Rage?
Wake Up and Rage.
What?
So, because we need everybody to leave. And so I get a golf cart and a megaphone, and we get to drive around and yell at the hippies that it's time to go home. Pack your shit and go home. I've written some Wake Up and Rage songs. And I have a couple of sidekicks, and we drive around in a golf cart and yell at people. But like inspirational stuff, like "Good packing, keep going."
They probably need that after 10 days.
No, I know.
It's gotta be hard to leave something like that.
It is. Most people don't want to go home. Like, you want to go back and get a real shower, but also, I don't want to leave this space where, you know what? There's that thing going on across the field. I'm trying to think of something.
Yeah, I'm so curious. I feel like we're spending a lot of time on this topic, but it's so fascinating. It is. I'm so curious, like, on a day that there is no Burning Man, just like on a normal day there, like,
what happens?
What the hell would I be doing all day?
You would be going to the events, right? And so it's a co-created world entirely. I am a part of the org. I make sure there's porta potties, and that we have medics, that we have rangers for safety. We don't provide anything. That's why we say it's not a festival. Like,
you don't provide bottled water? Nothing.
Nothing. It is leave no trace. It is radical self-reliance. You bring your water, your food, you pack your garbage out with you. We provide toilets, and everyone has to take care of themselves. But where was I going with that?
We were just talking about a normal
the
day.
events.
Yeah.
Right. So the burn doesn't happen if everyone doesn't bring their stuff. And so we have a guide. There's a big fat, I'll have to have Don show it to you just for fun, because it's awesome. I've showed you the what, where, when, lists of all the events. It's a booklet. And so the camps will put on events for other people. So I have, in my camp, we do an event, my friend Hatter and I do an event called Fiona and Hatter Keep It Classy. So my burner name is Fiona. Fiona and Hatter Keep It Classy. And we do a 90-minute cocktail party. We play Rat Pack Live at the Sands. We're both dressed in our 50s garb, and we serve gin and tonics for an hour and a half. And that's it. Like, we just do that. And then anyone can come, anyone can have a drink if you're old enough. And they hang out, we talk, we listen to the Rat Pack, and then they go on to the next thing.
So what if a guy like me showed up? It's like, I want to put on a wrestling show. Like, did things like that happen, or is that like?
Last year somebody brought Thunderdome. They legit had brought the Ocho, whatever. Like, they brought in this cage thing, and then they had all these matted like weapons and like headgear, and they built Thunderdome, and you had to sign up. and you got to go in, and then you fought with somebody for a while.
Whoa.
And then
Oh,
you were
I'd be in
done. You were
there.
done. Then they packed up Thunderdome, and I think they came from Tennessee.
That's badass.
So yeah, you want to do that? That's great. If you there's a camp. Oh, I think it's Field Trippin' maybe, but it might be Field Trippin'. They do all school themed events, and so there's like history trivia. There's
It's up my alley.
God, they have puzzles all day, all different types of math puzzles, big crossword puzzles that are like 6 foot tall, joke telling contests. They have something called Lunch Lady where they serve like just sloppy joes to anybody for that hour. You just walk up, get a
Sloppy
sandwich.
Joe, sloppy Joe.
Exactly. And so you also are expected to walk around with like your own plate, your own fork, and your own cup. And you don't actually have to pack food because you can just walk around and everybody will give you food. But you walk up with your cup and like, yeah, can I have some coffee? You're making coffee or whatever.
Cool. Don, have you ever been to Burning Man?
I have not.
I'm shocked.
Yeah, no. Don't look at me like that. That
You
tone.
son of a...
Yeah. Heather's been trying to get me to go to one of these.
Why haven't you
burns for,
gone?
like,
This sounds like it's made for you,
I'm
man.
just-
Right.
I don't know.
What
man.
is it, man?
Do
You want to?
Part of me does. I just like. I don't know if I can let myself go like that.
You don't have to be
anymore.
naked, right?
No. But like, it's not even about. The nudity's not the problem for me. It's it's sorry, listener. It's more. I don't know. Just like that much of a release. And then having to leave that environment, I think, would be too much.
You feel like you like it too much.
Yeah.
That
I
it
think
might that make your everyday seem very...
Yeah.
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 That re-entry is hard. Re-entry is
Yeah,
really hard when
that-
you come back and you're like, why is everybody here being assholes?
Yeah, that's why I'm so
someone in a
resistant to
rush?
it. I'm
Yeah.
like, I've been in a world where I don't need to listen to this. Like, and that's the thing that I have the hardest time wrestling with.
Maybe if you just went for like a Saturday to Monday morning.
God, maybe if
small
you went with
taste
a
of it.
friend,
Ooh,
you
a
know?
buddy.
Like,
you could
I
camp
don't-
with Four Fingers. We're
Who's Four Fingers?
my camp is named Four Fingers, and it is the orphaned leader camp. And so we kind of just all camped together because we were all camping on our own. So we formed a camp. We named it Four Fingers, which is named after. One night we were sitting around the campfire, and Finkel brought the bald-headed hermit something. It's basically a sexual thesaurus.
Okay.
Oh.
And so we're reading through it because it's hysterical, like all of the words for everything through history, right? And we got to Four Fingers on Thumb Street, and I lost my shit. And I just sort of like stared at my hand all night long. and you know how I laugh so hard sometimes that people are like, we broke Heather.
Yeah.
Right. On their own, this new group of friends went, we broke Fiona. Four Fingers on Thumb Street, my friend.
Oh my
so the
gosh.
entire camp is built on a bad male masturbation joke.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it's Four
as are
Fingers.
most things in life.
The best things in life. Hey, okay, just final question. What is your favorite thing about Burning Man?
Oh my God. It's the ability to say out loud all of the irreverent things that you want to say at work anyway.
Huh.
Like the stuff that oh God, there's just, everybody thinks I'm nice. And
I mean, I
not.
thought you were nice. How wrong am I?
I mean, like,
Tell me, Don, how wrong? She pointed to you.
just the ability to let out that little extra bit of yourself.
Yeah.
I don't know, like Sam plus, right? Don plus,
Yeah.
like that little extra bit of yourself that you wish you could be some days.
Yeah.
That's what's tempting you, I think, Don.
Well, because it's like Don age 50 is a little bit different from Don age 25. Like my persona was a little bit more graphic than it is
Oh.
currently. You know,
Is he more
like-
reserved nowadays, you would say?
Yeah. He's more rounded out, but I think we all are.
Sure, and I mean that's like kind of,
Yeah.
you know, adulting. You know,
Yeah.
Like, I mean, there are people that I hang out with when I go back to being 18 to 24.
Absolutely.
You know, like, but most of the time, like, and that's a good hang for a couple of hours. You know, and but I think if I did that for like 2 weeks,
No,
You'd never come back.
I don't know.
It's also
I'll go with you, man.
you guys have to go. See, now you have a buddy. The art alone, Don. The art alone.
I know. I should go for the art.
And we could entertain, or I would
Yeah.
entertain. I mean,
No,
whatever
we do.
want to
And
do.
the other thing is, you can participate as much as you want. Like, if you want to sit in camp and watch the world go by, you can do that, and no one will make you do anything else.
I just draw people. all
You
day
can just
long.
just sit and sketch.
It's freaking awesome.
But you know, the group of people, like the group of people that I found there, I talk about like being able to be irreverent, right? So like I have my Muggle friends. I have amazing friends. I'm so blessed. I have friends on Facebook talking about life, talking about kids, talking about work, right? Slack is the platform we use to plan the burn. And so the Slack, we have one Slack channel called Random. And that's just the open thread of nonsense. And my friend Wax 2 days ago posted a photo that was a fleshlight made of Legos. And then the thread under that was other like better toys that would have made a better fleshlight. And
That's fascinating.
and that went on for like 12 comments. And like that's the part of myself that I can't put on Facebook, if that makes sense.
Yeah, sure.
Should we describe what a fleshlight is or move on?
It's perfect for a podcast, but Facebook.
You told me I could say anything.
You can say anything.
You can edit it later.
I won't though. There's no need to. Like I'm thinking Stretch Armstrong would be better than Legos. Like, you know.
That's a perfect point.
Well,
yeah.
I think it's that Wax put up the Lego fleshlight as like a Lego will do anything these days, and then I think Hazmat chimed in with Duplo seems much safer for this type of thing.
I lost my train of thought. I have so many questions.
I know.
It's fascinating. I would love to do that one day, Don.
Now I know.
All right. Well,
Now I know.
We'll
Okay.
talk. We'll
All
talk.
right.
Oh, that was my question. Does everyone get a Burning Man name?
Yes. I mean, usually it's gifted to you, and usually it's because you did something stupid. Hazmat, I don't know how Hazmat got his name. He works in Hazmat. That is his job. His real name is Michael. His burner name is Hazmat. But then our oldest son, Rob, who went with me, scolded Hazmat one day.
Oh, you can scold there.
Rob says, "Hazardous Matthew." And so now I call him Hazardous Matthew. So now his burner name has a nickname.
that's funny.
It's so great. No, I mean, like you can give yourself a name if you want. If you're like,
Does
no.
Rob have a burner name?
So Rob has a few.
Okay.
Karnak named him Notorious R.O.B.
Okay.
He has been called Small Fiona. And then when the year he went with one of his exes, I had been calling his ex Vim, and so he went by Vigor for that weekend. But yeah, it's just
It sounds magical. I'm not gonna lie.
For
and
art-
especially for a dude who's working all day, every day, taking care of kids all day, every day, to get away from for 5 to 10 days and just do whatever the fuck I want. Like,
even come to PDF Pennsylvania. It's 3 hours away. It's Thursday to Monday. Mini one, perfect break.
do teenagers go to this too, or is it adults only?
No, anyone can go. There's babies.
I can bring my
there's-
kids.
You can bring your kids. It is free tickets under the age of 12, and the rules are that you're in charge of what your kids see, because no one's going
I
to
was going to
change
say
their
they.
behavior for
Speaking
you.
of change,
Yeah.
they will probably change coming out of Burning Man.
But like, there's my friend's daughter's been going. She must be 17. She's been going since she was born.
Wow.
She's just used to it now.
I didn't realize
Yeah.
it was that old. How long has Burning Man been
Oh
around?
my God, the big burn is. I feel like it's the 80s. I feel like
Holy
it's
crap.
a long time.
It must have blown up.
Look it
though.
up.
But it must have
think
blown
it's
up
early.
what,
Oh,
over
yeah.
the last
Social media.
10 years or
No,
something.
social
15?
media. Whenever it became cool to take your picture in the desert going like, "Mwah,"
Yeah.
then that's exactly when it got really cool. But I feel like it's been a while.
Wow, the 80s?
Maybe I just think the 80s are a really long time ago.
Yeah, but the 80s were also...
86.
86,
wow.
thank goodness.
On Baker's Beach.
Yes.
Wow.
But yes, it's been around for a long time, and you guys should definitely go. And now that I know that Don has somebody who wants to go,
And that Don wants
it's
to
a
go.
long weekend. And if
Yeah.
you hate it, you can drive home.
That's a
It's
good
on the
point.
other side of Philly.
I'll have to ask the wife.
Bring her too. Get a
Maybe I'll
babysitter.
bring her. Maybe I'll bring them all 6 of them.
Charlie wants to go, my youngest. He's almost 10, and I told him the kids aren't allowed because, which is not true, but I told him that because my idea, like, I go there to not be mom. Like, Fiona
Yeah.
doesn't have a 10-year-old, if that makes sense. Like, I go there to blow off steam and not be mom. However, Charlie will love it when he's old enough.
Sure.
He's already there.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, what
so,
else?
So we knocked out the food show.
Yes.
We knocked out Burning Man. There's so much more.
Yeah, well, let's talk a little bit about how you got into like social work and like what's leading you towards like a doctorate in community engagement.
Okay, so I started in food service professionally. Like, I waitressed my whole life. I love serving food. I love restaurants. I went to college first to be a French teacher because the only thing I did well in high school was French. So I assumed, well, then that's my career.
Très bien.
So I ended up leaving that, went to the New York Restaurant School in Manhattan, worked in fancy restaurants, worked in catering, came back to Jersey. And then I thought, I really actually just want to finish college. And I think I want to help people. I think I want to be a therapist and help people. And then I decided to do my undergrad in sociology, anthropology at Stockton because I love studying groups of people and how they get along and how they don't get along. And then I went into social work, like, I'm going to get this license in social work and I'm going to be a therapist and I'm going to sit on the floor and have a sand tray and play with puppets and help kids. And that was my goal.
Cool.
And then what I realized is, like, we have to stop looking at titles and tasks. We have to look for the thread and the theme of what we've always loved. And so for me, it has always been community, right? Like, waiting tables is this hour of a family's life where you're creating a space for something to happen for them. When you're catering a wedding, you are creating a space in a room with a set and props and a script so that family things can happen in that space. Same thing with social work, right? You're creating a space, working with humans in any sense, whether it's like clinical, macro practice, creating programming. You're helping to structure a space where life can happen within and things can be built. And that's not any different in the end than a burn, than all the work I do with Cub Scouts, right? Like, creating spaces for these things to develop. And that, I found that thread. I didn't end up going into sand trays and having my own clinical practice because I found out, like, actually, I'm really good at planning programs, interventions, or staging like an after-school program for kids and working on the policies that come with that and this macro level. And then I was perfectly happy with, because a master's in social work is a terminal degree. Like, you don't need any more degree to ever do your job to its fullest. But I was raised by some really shitty people who told me a lot of things I couldn't do. And
You talking about your parents?
aunts and uncles. It was like a committee of people who hated each other who raised me.
Oh,
Am I wrong, Don?
No, that's a great way to describe it, actually.
great way. Yeah, but you came out
Yeah.
Yeah.
pretty
Yeah.
badass.
Yeah.
And so I wanted a PhD because I worked at the college, and I just was like, I just want this thing. I want to be able to say I did the very last step, and I think I can do this. And I had some people at the college telling me I can do this. And I was looking around like, well, what am I going to study? I'm not going to do all this work if it's not meaningful. I don't want to get it just to have it. I want to it to be meaningful to me. And I found a university in Pittsburgh called Point Park University, pretty little school. And it was a real school, like they have a soccer team. And
That makes it official right
well,
there.
I mean, unfortunately, when you work in academia, people can be really snobby about where your degree's from, right?
Yeah.
So I wanted a real brick and mortar school, but they had this low residency PhD program. And it's community engagement. And it's this beautiful love child of organizational nonprofit management and sociology and social work and all these things. And because it's interdisciplinary, you're held to a level of rigor. And there are these base courses you have to take in research and theory and policy. But then your dissertation can be whatever you craft it to be, which was really exciting to me. So I decided, you know what? Screw all y'all, I'm going to get a PhD. And because somebody once told me that I couldn't, which might not be the best use for $60,000. But
Disagree.
yeah, right?
Yeah.
Oh, and getting that puffy hat.
You should wear it to all the family reunions too.
Well, they're not invited to the family reunions anymore.
Fair. That's fair.
But I'm going to wear it to ShopRite in case I ever run into her buying groceries for somebody else.
Oh, God.
Sorry. And yeah, I am going to, yeah.
right.
But life
Yeah.
is good.
Life is good.
Life is good now. Life is good when you become old enough to say, you're not allowed in my circle. Right? Like,
For sure.
yeah. But yeah, so doctorate. And right now I'm in the process of collecting data, and it's not going great. And so I've just sort of resorted to begging people to help me. But I mean, I'll be a doctor no matter what. But I didn't think that getting people to be in my study was going to be the hardest part. And when creativity, I have had to beg in creative ways, and it could be paying off. So,
What kind of people do you need? What do you mean by collecting people for your study?
so my dissertation, I'm at the point of working on my dissertation, that final paper you have to write. And I am studying Stockton students who, while during high school, lived with someone other than a biological or step parent. Because I'm really studying the experiences of Stockton students who didn't have that core support system that many other students have.
Do you
right?
mean people who had to live with their grandparents? or-
Exactly.
Okay.
So people who live with their grandparents, their an aunt and uncle who slept on their best friend's parents' couch in their senior year to get through, or any other family member, right? Or that they were homeless, or that they were in a recovery center. All these different ways that teenagers experience this last part of being a teenager and then go off into college, this land where we're like, okay, well, you're an adult now, and this is an extremely meaningful experience, because we know that college degree is the best way out of poverty. And so, but when you don't have a support system that's super strong, you go off, you launch yourself to college, and then you're there, and then like the shit hits the fan at 2 a.m. and who do you call, right? Do you have somewhere to go for Thanksgiving dinner, or do you live at college?
Well, I mean, having known you for a long time, like this is a pretty personal
Oh, yeah.
kind of,
Absolutely.
exploration. So even with the data that you've collected so far, like, are you finding similarities between the people that you're collecting data from and your own experience?
A little bit. It's really interesting because of course, you expect when you go into something like this, especially when you're studying something personal to you, you have to acknowledge your personal story and your biases and not let that spill into the data. But of course, as a human being, you're like, we have the same story. You're going to be just like me. And what I'm actually studying is the social support network that the students create on campus. So I'm mapping where they go for 5 types of capital, like emotional support, academic support, personal advice, and 2 more. And it's all written down. I don't need to memorize it. But like 5 types of capital, 5 types of access to information that we all need to get through life, and specifically through college. And I'm asking them, where in your life do you go? Who do you turn to for these 5 types of support? And they're giving me names of people in their life. And then I'm going to create a social network map for each student. Where are your nodes and where are your ties? You know, those dots and line maps, right? So I'm looking at, so to answer your question, I'm interviewing these students and I'm finding like, well, their map is very similar to mine. Or, well, their map is actually very different. Like you're telling me you lived with your grandparents. I can see that on the paper, but you're not actually naming your grandparents as support people. Like, what's the story there? And this is the frustrating part. When you do a study like this, you have to get IRB approval, Institutional Review Board. And so you have to tell somebody when you're working with humans, in order to keep them safe, like, here's what I'm going to do. And they approve, yes, you can do these things, and this is a safe way to work with human beings, right? So we don't end up hurting people. Well, my research study is just to ask what their network is. It's not to ask why it is the way it is. So I'm not allowed to ask, so where's your grandmom on this map? Like, why is your granddad here and not your grandmom? I want to know so badly. But so to answer your question, right, I'm looking for, like, expecting to find similarities, and I have some information that's similar, but they're all so different. And I'm not allowed to ask the questions that, like, I want to know more.
So how are you using this information? Like, what does this do to I don't know, reach a conclusion with your
and to
dissertation?
piggyback off that question, like, did you go into this with a theory that you're trying to prove or disprove, or
So my research question, it's really I don't have a hypothesis or something I'm trying to prove necessarily, but I want to see what is the social support network of college students coming out of foster care, where the state, where you had a caseworker, where your foster parents got money to take care of you, you had access to health care, a lot of other like formal supports in life, right, if you're in foster care, versus what was my situation, which is called informal kinship care, where, like, it's totally legal for Dawn to give Kaylee to me. It's fine. It's completely legal. She's not being abused or neglected. But when you do that, you're not getting the supports of the state, right? So you're not getting people giving the money and the help with the medical care. And when you grow up with grandparents or someone in that role, your caretakers are more likely to be older, in poor health, less educated, more stress. And so I want to see what the difference was between college students who came out of foster care and college students who came out of informal kinship care. Like, does the fact that you were given a network matter to the network you create on campus? Is there a difference? So it's really an exploratory study.
Yeah.
Like, is there a difference between these networks?
I keep thinking about a friend. Actually, Don knows him too. I'm not going to say his name, but I always think about him. I always think about him because he's one of the most badass, tough, cool dudes I know. But at the same time, this is the guy who never had his parents growing up, was bounced from his uncle's house to this house to that house to a friend's house. And now he's an adult. He's living his life. He makes money. He has hobbies. But, man, he's so down on himself all the time. And I always wonder, like, God, is it because he doesn't have, like, I have my parents or my mom still living. I have my kids. I have people I want to make proud. I always wonder, like, maybe he doesn't have a single person to be that person that he would call family. And is that why he's so depressed? Like, he doesn't have someone to be proud of him. Or I don't know.
But that's absolutely a valid theory, right? Because we are social creatures. We cannot get through life alone. And so the network that we build is what gets us by and gets us through and over. And if anyone feels like they don't have enough support in any one of these areas of their life, any one of these social capital areas, or being emotionally supported, or feeling like I have somebody to borrow $20 from, you feel alone. Like, we are social creatures. And so that is absolutely a valid reason when you feel disconnected from society, from a network, from a group.
Yeah.
It causes depression.
Yeah.
We need connection. We need humans to survive. You really can't get by. And so I think that, again, that just continues the whole thread of how is everybody connected, right?
Yeah.
Like, how is everybody connected, and how do we use our connections in our whole life to be healthy and happy and productive? It's just amazing.
Yeah, I'm always feeling with this person like, God, I wish I could say the right combination of words to let him know, like, I care, or that he's a special dude, but I never know what to say, and I'm just some friend of his. I don't even think it's for me to even do or say. With a person like him, I'm just hoping he finds his happiness somewhere out there, but...
Well, you should say it.
You think I should say it?
We should always say it. As soon as you think about somebody, you should send a message, dude, thinking about you today. And I know there's sometimes a gendered thing with feelings and right, but like a text that's like, man, I hope you're having a good day. Thinking about you, like to hang out soon.
Yeah.
Just something that shows that a human is randomly thinking. How exciting is that when you get that message, right?
Yeah.
Like, hey, saw this on
like
TV and thought of you. I hope you're doing all right. Like,
yeah.
We don't do enough of that. Guys don't do enough of that.
Yeah. I tell my friends and everyone, I love you, Don. I do.
Good.
Yeah. And this one, I always feel like, should I? Or is it going to seem like I'm being weird to him? Like, I don't know. But you're right. I should just fucking do it. Why not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Send him a stupid joke.
Yeah.
Like
I sent him a video today. Just the levels of different peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. Because he likes peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
Very good.
Anything to stay connected. It's the connections.
Yeah. So are you going to be able to finish this paper? Or you can't find the people.
I'm going to finish I will finish. It's that, like, when in research, you need a certain number of people in a study to be able to say that what you found matters. If that makes sense, right? Like,
Sure.
Like, Sam and Don say that this beer is the best beer. All right, well, there's a million other people who, right? So.
Who are wrong.
Drinking my Heine, baby.
But, like, it will be done. I will write the paper. I will get the hat. What I want to do is get enough people in the study that I can say something about Stockton students.
Yeah.
It'll be fine. This is my process, Sam. I am creative. I have ideas. I leaned back. I get things done. But first, I'm gonna panic a lot. I don't know if anyone else that's their first step in their creativity process.
I love that you're doing this at this stage in life.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, you're just still learning, still moving forward, trying to do great things.
Well, what else you gonna do?
Well, there's a lot of people who don't do anything.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
You know, they go to their cubicle, they work the 8 hours and punch the numbers, and they go home and watch the shows, and they do it again the next day.
My people are the striving people. I want to be near people who are striving. That's this guy right here.
Don,
Always.
oh, you hear this? I was talking with Don earlier today. I told him he is the chosen one. I did it through memes.
I want to surround myself with people who are just trying to be better in whatever that means. Higher score on the video game, but trying to be better.
Yeah, definitely. What else do you do?
What
We
else
got
do I
like
do?
4 minutes.
I have a car full of shit to pull out when the Cub Scouts get bored and squirrely.
You're like a Cub Scout.
I'm a Cub Scout
master?
leader. I am
Leader.
the Cub. I'm the interim Cub Master, and I am the patrol leader for the Panther Patrol for Pack 634 Galloway.
Of course you are. Of course you are.
Yeah, no, I can. One of the things in terms of creativity that I'm proudest of is that if you give me some bored children and my handbag, I will keep them entertained.
This is very true. I also want to bring up, because we started this thing off, I want to come full circle to food and some of the places where Heather spent some of her time in New York. Let's see, Rainbow Room,
So good.
Windows on the World.
Yeah.
These are restaurants?
Yes.
Yeah,
Interesting names for restaurants.
Oh yeah. Harvard Club.
Harvard Club.
And I mean that was it.
That was
Although like Blue Sky and other places were owned by the same chefs. So we
Sure.
bounced around a little bit.
Yeah, and like, in Windows on the World, you worked there in 2 capacities.
Yes. So Windows on the World was the restaurant at the top of the World Trade Center, 106th and 107th floor. And it was completely beautiful. It was just this restaurant in the sky above the clouds on
Are we talking
some
about
days.
the towers?
Yeah.
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 You could watch like the building sway from the top of the top of the towers.
Amazing.
It was just
Wow.
It was so beautiful. And then the Rainbow Room is owned by the same company, and that's the restaurant that's at the top of Rockefeller Center in New York City, like where they filmed 30 Rock in that same building. The Rainbow Room is the restaurant at the top of that, and it's from the 20s, and it was just completely Art Deco, gorgeous. The food's amazing. The dance floor revolved. Remember we had brunch on the dance floor that time? It was just amazing.
I've never heard a single person in my life talk about serving tables quite like you do. It's really cool.
I love food, and I love serving people and making spaces.
the food that we were exposed to, like amazing. Like, I don't know if you remember early Food Network stars and stuff like that. There was
I know some of them.
There was this guy called Chef Michael LaMonaco, and he was also the executive chef at Windows on the World, right?
Yep.
And this was right before you stopped working there, I think. Was like he was opening up a new restaurant called Wild Blue.
Yes.
And we were one of the test like diners there.
Fun.
It was basically just the two of us in this restaurant, and the wait staff was there, and he came to our table to ask us how we were liking the meal, and it was just like it's great. It's either this or Wendy's, I guess, tonight. So like
we
it
were
was just
22 and
Oh,
so
you
broke.
kids.
so broke.
So broke. We had no right eating rabbit at
You're eating rabbit.
the like.
Yeah, we'd go to we're going to like Beacon and what was it
Montrachet. Oh,
and was it the Pyrenees, that French
I
restaurant?
forgot about Pyrenees.
Over-
No, all right. So we had a lot of fun when we were
Yeah.
when we were young and in New York City.
Yeah,
Rob sat on some of the most expensive bars in that whole town.
for sure. My son Rob went to just as many bars as I did when he was an infant. Like he was sitting up on the bar at McSorley's down in the Village. Like he would just go. Like I take him everywhere because I don't know.
Babysitters are expensive.
Babysitters are expensive, and you just fit nicely on a snuggie kind of. I don't know what this thing.
We didn't know we weren't supposed to take him everywhere.
Yeah, we just took him everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sat him on the top of bars and
Great pictures of him with like bandanas wrapped around his head at Broadway on Broadway.
Oh my God,
and
that was so great.
yeah, it's cool stuff. Yeah.
That's great, man. That's great. See, when I think about serving, I would never. Dude, I'm telling you, after she spoke about serving tables, I'm seeing it in a different light because all I think about are those rude customers who are mean to their waiters and waitresses and thinking, like, I would not be able to handle that. I would lose my mind.
Yeah, it's really awful to be treated badly and then hope they give you $11 so you can pay your mortgage. Like, that's the downside of
I
serving
imagine, though,
food.
me not so much, but I feel like you'd be able to turn it around with those people.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of it is, I think it's your energy going into it. Like, I care about your family for this hour, and I genuinely do. Like, yeah, I also need you to give me $11 because my mortgage is due. But, like, I honestly do care about the experience you have in this bubble for this hour.
Well, you're like the host. Like you always like, welcome to my party. Your table becomes your party, and like, well, what can I get you? And it's the same thing when you're hosting, other parties at your house. It's like, what can I get you?
I love how you seem to put your heart and soul into a wide variety of things, and you do a wide variety of things. It seems like you really are passionate about all of them.
I was talking to somebody, and it was not you, Don, but you'll appreciate this. I realized, like, a little human epiphany of, like, I don't know how to love medium. I only love big. Like, that's it. You get what you get. Like, if I'm welcoming you, you're in. Like, I don't really know how to do it halfway.
I'm very with you on that.
Yeah, I think that's really the way to be.
It is the way to be.
Yeah.
Life is too short not to.
Meh is unacceptable.
No.
Yeah.
So, hey, some people are happy with mid. They don't want any issues. They don't want any problems. Because you go big, then you can deal with some big problems. You can deal with some Mid, you can just ride things out and it's easy. Some people want easy, but it doesn't look like that's what you guys want. You want the challenge.
It's not about. It's not. I don't know if it's about the challenge.
No?
I think it's. No, I don't think it's about the challenge. I think it's about the experience. Like, I don't want to experience anything like a taster plate. Like, if I'm, it's like going to, your favorite sports stadium and just to hang it out in the parking lot just to say that you were there, like, instead of experiencing a game there. I want to get inside. I want to know people. Like, I want to, like, there's like people that I've met through doing this art club stuff, and I think 80% of the people that I've met doing this, like, I know personally. I care about each one of them personally. It's not just an experience where, like, hey, how's it going? These are people where, like, every now and then I might pick up the phone or send a text message to people I might have met 3 or 4 times just to find out how they're doing, because I don't want just the surface relationship as much as I want the full experience of knowing them and knowing that they're well.
That's awesome. Yeah, and I love this table because I think we're all in agreement with that. Yeah. I think it's one of the best parts of life, and to be able to give people that you care about an excellent experience, one that they're going to remember. I mean, what more is there than that? I mean, that's huge.
Yeah, people are cool.
People are cool.
You're pretty cool, Don.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
You guys are pretty cool too.
Thanks, man. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, we need to hug it out, so we might have to go.
Yeah.
I think it's time.
Heather, thank you so much for being a guest on our little podcast here thing and classing the joint up. It was a pleasure talking to you, and I know I'll be talking to you probably I don't know, an hour.
Yeah.
On the way home or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know, but yeah.
No, thank you both. This was a lot of fun. I love the sound of my own voice. This is
you
great.
are the first person to ever say that. Most people are like, "Oh shit!" That's we wear these headphones, ladies and gentlemen. Sometimes that first time you speak, you're just like, "Do I sound like that? What?"
No.
Then you listen to the podcast, you're like, "Oh my god, I said 15,000 times."
Yeah.
But
yeah, that I'm gonna not like later.
I think you did good. I
okay.
think you did really good.
I edit out most of my I'm like,
shut
oh,
up. Do you really do that, man?
Dude, vanity editing.
I did for the first 3 episodes.
Yeah, because you find out how much you say it, right?
I was like, oh, this sucks. I'm like, you know what? It's fine. This is just how the conversation went.
Yeah.
So I don't do it as much anymore.
Yeah, as long as it's not like too much.
Yeah,
it's just like people are waiting for you to say the next one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else, or
No.
I think that's.
are we out of here?
I think we're out of here, Sam.
All right, ladies and gentlemen.
Heather Swenson, Brilla.
Woo!